It's time for chewing on the wire radio.
No, God! No,
Hey,
God,
no
please,
biting.
no!
Hey,
No!
no biting. Okay? You want me to bite you? You know that hurts, Daddy. I told you, silly. No biting, okay?
Power plants to break away, but there is choice for 30 days. Stick 'em up in power plants, ain't no messing in our way. We're not here with the dead, my society on the way.
And good morning, one, and good morning, all. Welcome to another episode of Friday Fever on Chewing on the Wire Radio, the actual day we are usually live, our real show, if you will. And the reason I put it like that is because yesterday you may have, can't think of a word for it, you may have fancied, good enough of a word, you may have fancied our YouTube Live to pre-show / pre-game the AFTERSHOCK Festival, day one. And I think that's basically, that's basically what we're doing today, because we were kind of promoted, kind of marketed that, we're going to be talking about the AFTERSHOCK Festival pre-show / pre-game the festival. So we're doing that again today for day two. In all honesty, I feel like I covered most of it yesterday, but because it's all this weekend, I guess it still carries on to today. So I feel like we're going to kind of continue on from there and just continue on from yesterday's conversation. With that being said, this is an earlier morning episode for our Fridays, and we usually have like Friday evenings. I guess we could fit it in. Sometimes it's in the morning or afternoon, but it's currently 10 a.m. on Friday morning. And I guess that's good. We had to make sure we get in this episode before our power goes out again. So I don't really have any explanation for what I mean by that, just randomly. And I don't know if this is a power company thing. I don't know, but our power just randomly keeps going out. Like, I'll leave the house and I'll have everything on. I always have my radio on, the security cameras, all that, the cat cams, all that stuff. I leave the computer I work here on, to update the software. We always have the Adobe, the design software, running, so it just updates itself automatically. And I'll come home and then everything is off. And it's everything down to I have a smart fan in the back room where you can set it to level 4 to blow level 4 or whatever. And then you come home and you turn it on and it's back on level 1 because the power went out. And it happened twice yesterday. It's been happening twice a month for the past couple of months, but gotta see what's going on with that. Then of course, I was told that's not specific enough for the power company to do something about it because they only handle outside. I'm like, I don't know how to be more specific than every time I leave the house, I leave 6 things on, so they continue to update because they're smart devices, and then when I come home, they're off. So unless Max, our cat, is down there playing in the basement with the breaker box, plugging back in, the circuits and the breakers, your power, talking to the power company, is not working in this house for more than 4 or 5 hours a day anymore. And I think that's your problem to fix. But apparently I'm the idiot in that situation. Moving on, before I get to my notes, some more information that just came out on, I was SOH, one of our co-hosts, sent it to me on Wednesday. Cedar Point is selling pieces of, if you didn't know, the roller coaster Maverick, that big red one in the back, used to have what was called a Heartline roll. I believe that's what it was called. It's too early for me to think about this stuff. I believe it was called a Heartline roll. Right after you go through the tunnel, you get launched out, you kind of go up in the air, and then you turn to the right, and you know how now it's just kind of like you bank the other direction and takes your picture type of thing. It used to be this full 360. You got tossed under and then over the ride type of thing. And they had to take that out. Only one person ever rode it, and he worked for the company that manufactured it. Only one person ever rode it with that element in it. And then my question, and again, as I keep saying in previous episodes, as I keep saying every time SOH is in here, it's a question for him, because he's the roller coaster aficionado. I'm his trainee, if you will. But so I was told originally that they couldn't use that element because, and this still may have happened, but every single time they put those dummies, like the water-filled test dummies, onto the ride, they'd come off and or while it was going there, heads would come off or something, like it was just too intense of a ride, like it could decapitate people, it could break someone's neck, like this, that, or the other thing. But then I'm hearing, from reading this article, information that I didn't know before. Someone wrote it, and potentially multiple times, with that element on there and survived. So are we just saying it was too much on the cars, or if it launched too fast? Because you know how sometimes launches launch one speed and then another speed the next time. If it launches too fast, it could have hurt someone. I'm really confused as to what's happening, because now I'm hearing that one specific person wrote it potentially multiple times and was fine. So then it wasn't decapitating people. So I feel like we're getting conflicting stories, but just, I guess, the essence of the story is, it was too intense for both the car and person alike. But regardless, carrying on from there, they got rid of that piece, and the ride didn't end up opening on opening day in 2007. It opened in June of 2007, because they got rid of that plate piece and had to manufacture just basically a right and left bank, where you kind of go to the right a little bit, go to the left, and then you're straight. There's no more inversion or anything like that. So it opened about a month late because they had to remanufacture a piece to put in that little area like that. Well, that Heartline roll that was taken out has been sitting in the woods in Canton or something, just behind some manufacturing plant. And for 17 years, it was sitting there. Well, 16 technically. And SOH and I were we got to go out there and get pictures of it. We got to go out there and we got to get pictures of it. Go stand on it, go sit on it. It's a piece of Cedar Point and roller coaster history, and a live piece of just roller coaster track just sitting out there. That's so freaking cool. And I was thinking how cool would it be to wear our employee uniforms, now that we're not working there anymore, and just have pictures of like a photo frame picture of after 10 years of working at the park or whatever, and it's us standing posing in some way on the roller coaster track. That would be badass. Well, we were texting each other about that, and exactly, this was last year, and exactly 2 weeks later, there was the rumor going around. We never actually ended up going out there to check, but it was announced that it was gone. It was not in the woods anymore, and they supposedly had it in the manufacturing, or the what do you call it? The workshop at Cedar Point, where they fix the rides and stuff. It was just a rumor. And then as of Wednesday of this week, they announced that starting tomorrow, Saturday, which is the 12th, if I remember correctly. Yeah, the 12th is tomorrow. I'm trying to find something that has a date on it right now. I don't know where I am. But anyway, right? Yeah, today's the 11th. Alright, anyway, as of the 12th, they are selling pieces of that Heartline roll. They cut it up into little circles, and they have these two ends on it that's Maverick commemorative track piece, and it's the Heartline roll. And they're $300 for the piece of track that might be signed by the first female general manager in Cedar Point history, and then another 100 if you want it signed by one of the manufacturers or something like that. It was something. There was crazy prices, but I think that's a cool piece of history, especially signed by the first female GM. That's pretty cool. But I just think those are asinine prices. I'm not paying $300 to $500 for that. But Where else was I going with this? I was making a mental note that I wanted to take this one other place. Now I'm losing my train of thought. Oh, yeah. So what are the chances that within the 2 weeks that we remember, dang, that piece is just sitting out in the woods, we should go visit it, that Cedar Point decides to go and pick it up like the day we were like we should go out there. So that was just annoying. Too little, too late, or whatever they say. And like I said, there's no shot I'm going out there. Oh, and they're only selling them in park, if you were wondering. They are only available in park starting Saturday the 12th. Gosh, it is early. Can you tell that I'm not usually up this early in the morning trying to do this? Anyway, on to our next note here. Something might start an argument on here. Not that we haven't had those before, but Terrifier 3s. So let me start a little bit back. I'm just going to start with my statement, then go over what's going on here, right? So my statement is that Terrifier is not that bad. Like, blood isn't just going to directly make people puke unless that's like your ick. Like, my ick, not that weird relationship ick thing you see on social media. My ick is like feces of like poop of any kind. If I smell it or see it, I will probably immediately throw up. I'm sure there's people that are like that to blood, but like, just going and seeing a horror movie with blood is not going to make people throw up. And like, so with this, I think the new Terrifier 3 marketing photos they posted prove that it was just satire slash a setup slash inside job, and there wasn't ever actually barf related issues with the second film. Because if you see someone, hired a private ambulance, they got on the stretcher, they were like fake throwing up, and then they go in the ambulance, and then they like pop out in an Art the Clown mask. That was if you go look at the Terrifier Instagram promoting their Terrifier 3 movie, I think that goes to show it was all just, a satire or setup. I feel like a lot of us, myself included, were questioning whether them selling barf bags, in relation to marketing for the second film, if that was satire or just, a good marketing technique. But then there's all these articles, oh no, it's actually making people sick. I don't think it was. Like I said, I'm sure there's some people that have that ick or have that, like, that does make them sick. Like I said, with me, it's poop. If there was poop in the movie, I'd probably get immediately sick and have to leave. I can't even say that. I'm about to throw up now thinking about. All right. So, like I said, see, there are certain things. For me, it's poop. For me, it's feces. Poop. I like the word poop better. Dookie, to go with our adventures this year. Had a heck of a lot of dookie this year, and it didn't bother me because it was a good kind of dookie. It was a Green Day kind of dookie. Anyway, I could be one of the 1% because then, as you know, if I'm, have been working in a haunted house for 10 plus seasons, and specifically the one I'm at now has a lot of hyper realistic blood, guts, and gore, and the room I'm in has, like a person with their like head split open and realistic, you can see the skull through the skin, and then there's like the skin that's left is like a couple inches like up on the skull because like it's realistic as to like the 7 layers of skin. So it's like very realistic. It's like you can see like the indent, there's a couple inches of skin, and then the skull is exposed. Like, it's very realistic, the always wet type of blood. And I have to deal with that for 6+ hours a night, sometimes 4 nights a week. I've been doing this for, like I said, 10 plus seasons. So maybe I'm just a bad, like I'm desensitized to the whole thing. But I just don't think, now don't get me wrong, because I love the Terrifier movies, and I love that they actually show the kills. And it's not just something happening off screen. It's not just something, happening over there. Something, insinuating that it's happening. Either way, I like love the films. I have both of the ones that are out already on there, like the metal booklet box set type of thing, everything. I love them, but just this whole, like, it's the most disturbing, it's the most gruesome, like, and here's a spoiler alert, alright? I'm going to do a countdown from 3, then we're going to have a spoiler alert. In case you want to turn this off for the first and second movies, not the third. Haven't seen the third. But a spoiler for the first and second movies, alright? 3, 2, 1. It's spoiler time. Alright, so like in the first movie, when they had the lady hanging up by her feet and they cut her from her Virginia to from her Virginia to her North Carolina, no, from her vagina to her head, cut her straight down the middle with a hacksaw. She was hanging up upside down naked. Not like that was awesome. You know, like, and all the guts were coming out, and they actually showed it on the screen. That was like crazy and has never been done before. I don't think that's barf worthy though. You know what I mean? Like, and you have to be a horror fan to understand what I'm talking about. I'm sure if you're just a member of the general public, doesn't like horror, doesn't understand what I'm referencing, you're hearing what I'm saying sounding like that, then you're probably like, that sounds gruesome. I don't understand why people throw up. But like, if you saw it, it was like practical effect horror, like 2 rubber fake human pieces hanging there. Like, it wasn't barf worthy. But then, of course, that's not the one they marketed to be, you know, barf worthy. Then they're like, you thought that kill was intense. Wait till you see what we have for the second one. And there were 2 that I can specifically remember, kind of 3. I'm only going to cover 2 because I only barely remember the third one. One where this girl sitting on the bed gets like completely scalped and her like hair ripped back, and then another one when the mom gets shot in the face, and then like later on Art has her sitting at the table and like her head cavity's open and he's like shoving food into like her open head cavity. Like, that's gruesome, but again, it's like streams of blood, like, and that's kind of it. And again, it's extreme horror. Nobody's ever done this before, and it's awesome. And I'm glad they're showing it, and I'm glad they're making extreme horror films because that's what horror is supposed to be. But again, my devil's advocate, my alternate comment to this is that is Haunted House 101. Practical effects like that, Haunted House 101. If you've ever been through a haunted house, that should not make you throw up watching it in a movie. Again, maybe just my opinion, but that's why and it's great marketing. I understand some of it's just marketing. But if it's not just, what's the word? I just used it earlier. Like satire or something like that. And there are actually people throwing up in the theater. I don't know how to finish this statement. That just shouldn't be a thing. You know what I mean? I don't believe it. Honestly, I just don't believe it. And then it's one of those put your money where your mouth is, go see it. I've seen it, and I own both of them on DVD and watch them every Halloween because I think it's badass that they actually show the kills, actually show the bloody gore right in front of your face. I love that because I have been a creative director for a haunted house, a live action, extreme 45-minute walk through haunted house for 10 seasons now. It doesn't make me throw up, and I don't think it's all that, you know. I was going to say I don't think it's all that extreme, but I guess, and like I said, I guess if you're just the general moviegoer, I want to see a Halloween movie, and then you go see, you know, Terrifier. I don't know, maybe you're throwing up. I just don't believe it, though. I don't believe it. I think it's just, obviously it's marketing, but, I think it's, just satire. I don't think it's actually happening. I don't know. I don't know. And then all the photos you see from it are, like, staged. Like I said, the one that just came out for Terrifier 3 is like the guy was thrown up in the bag and taken out to an ambulance, but then you see him like go in the ambulance, the door is closed, then he pops out of the ambulance in an Art the Clown mask. Like, that was obviously set up. You know, a good marketing setup. So it seems like everything that I've actually seen, when you look up, are people actually throwing up because of the Terrifier movies? It seems like the answer is no. But anyway, to continue on. Someone on Instagram was trying to tell me how eggs work, and like that, and like how this and that makes an omelet white or yellow or whatever. I don't remember what I posted, but I've seen some random things from these Instagram bots, but trying to explain to me how eggs work really, really got me. I felt mad after that. Like, I guess I don't know how eggs work, but like, I don't want you to explain that to me. Like, that's just, like, I don't need to know how eggs work. You know what I mean? That's inappropriate. Like, don't put that on my social media. Don't tell me what makes eggs white or yellow in an omelet. Like, get over yourself. So we have a couple text messages in here. Sent after our last show. Darcy says, I hate it when I'm masturbating and the vid gets interrupted by one of those Shriner's Children ads with the slightly mutilated children. What are you watching? Or I don't think Pornhub has Shriner's Children ads in it, but I don't know. Like the dark ages of YouTube. Like imagine your spouse walking in on you while that's going on and you're trying to explain that, you know what I mean? Like full in the moment. And then it's like the Shriner's Children ads. I love how she or he, I don't know which Darcy is, but I love how they described it as slightly mutilated children. Oh god, that was bad. I'm done reading these texts. I don't like. We need to save. We need to save some for next week. That was too much, too little, and also the right amount. You know, for today. That scratched me where I itched, so I think we're good reading text messages for today. We only got a couple minutes left. You know how the show goes, unless we have a special time slot. We only have about 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. Sometimes that's pushing it. We only have a little bit left. The last thing I wanted to get into, because I think we're going to have to explore this more down the road, is basically the Oakland A's moving to Sacramento. And I wanted to bring this up because if we're pre-gaming the AFTERSHOCK Festival, Day 2, Part 2, that's in Sacramento. So I have some, if you're listening to this on iHeart, as, you know, you're going to the AFTERSHOCK Festival, you want to get in the mood, you want to hear some person talk about masturbating to Shriner's Children ads, or, you know, whatever it may be. I have a question for all you Sacramentans, however you say it. I'm losing my train of thought, man. It's too early for me. Anyway, so the Oakland A's moving to Sacramento to play at the Sacramento River Cats Stadium. They are the AAA for the San Francisco Giants. My question to you is, will the A's change their logo? Change their branding? Change anything? Whether that be in anticipation for the move to Vegas, or maybe just to look more like Sacramento, where they go with like the SAC logo or name or something, but then the A is like the A apostrophe S, SAC A's, you know, Sacramento A's, do a little something fancy with the jerseys or the hats for the next 3 or 4 seasons or whatever. Will they change the name altogether? Will they do something different for Vegas? And the reason I propose this is because I feel like the Oakland Raiders, when they were in Oakland, obviously, had that Raiders logo with like it wasn't a skull and crossbones, it was like a dude's face and swords, and how it says on a shield, and then it says Raiders above it. I thought at one point there was like an alternate version, kind of like how the Florida Panthers run, with one version of the Panther shield says Florida and the other says Panthers. I thought there was an alternate version where it said Oakland on the shield and another where it said Raiders. But maybe I'm the idiot here, because the helmet that I have sitting on my desk when I went out there, got to meet Jeff Barnes and the whole 9 yards of that. Hold on, now we're getting online. We're gonna look it up. But anyway, the helmet I have on my desk just says Raiders on both sides. Hold on, let me look. Yeah, it just says Raiders on both sides. We're gonna get online here. We're gonna break this thing apart. We're gonna crack this case wide open. I gotta get rid of Bing because Bing sucks. Get rid of all this crap. And of course, as I'm trying to do this live and in a timely manner, the internet is not working. It wouldn't surprise me if the power went out right now, quite honestly. Alright, so let's see. Oakland Raiders Should I put old logos so it doesn't come up as, did you mean Las Vegas? Oh, hold on. So So I'm kind of right. There was an old logo. What year would the 1963? It was an alternate version of that shield, and the dude on the shield was pushed down a little bit more, so the swords were hanging out the bottom, and it says "The Oakland" in small text, and then in big text it says Raiders, just like the modern shield does now. I feel, and it could have been fan made. It could have got me. I could have been got, but I swear I saw one that said Oakland on the top. What if I put Oakland Raiders? Oakland Oakland Shield. Raiders, the Oakland Raiders, John Madden. Alright, I'm gonna oh, God, is another one coming? Oh, I don't know what's going on. But I'm sneezing like crazy the past 2 days. Oh. Oh, boy. Alright, but basically the synopsis is I was wrong, other than in 1963 they had something similar. It had something kind of like. But the point being, anyway, just to get, hold on, time out. Now I'm stuffing. I like blow my nose. Alright. Anyway, yeah. So I think point being, it seems like I was just wrong. But getting back to what I was saying, will the A's do something like that though? Whether it be, I'm sure, there'll be a little change for, it'll say Las Vegas instead of Oakland. Obviously, they'll have like an away jersey or something. But do we think they'll do something for Sacramento? Like 3 and 4 years isn't, anything to shake your finger at. Being somewhere for 3 seasons, you can make that a marketable brand. And, remember that time Sacramento had an MLB team? I do. Here's their Sacramento A's jersey, something like that. Also, a weird tidbit. This is like things I wanna hear from y'all on this. What do we think about this whole? The A's will be playing in Sacramento in the minor league baseball stadium, all that, but if they make it to the playoffs, they might be playing somewhere else. Like where? And I say where because unless they just want to play in another minor league baseball stadium in Las Vegas, it's the same level, AAA, all that, or is this a hint they could go back to Oakland? I don't know that that's going to work because aren't they like, didn't pay rent? Fans pissed off, I don't know. But where? Where are they going to play the playoff games then? And it doesn't necessarily say, at least I don't think, like, we'll play all of our home games in Sacramento, but if we make the playoffs, we will not be playing here. Like, it doesn't say that. But, like, the contract they sign is all home games in Sacramento. The contract does not pertain to the playoffs, meaning it doesn't say all regular season and postseason play, or regular season and postseason home games. It just says all regular season home games. And so I'll give you our number to text if you have an opinion, or if you want to send me another rancid text like Darcy did. Our text number, our studio number is 216-626-0443. And let me hear your opinion. Let me hear what you got to think about that. All right? All right, we're about to hit the 30-minute mark. And I think that's all we got. Why don't we put a little outro music in here, listen to a little bit of a song, and I'll see you next time. Again, for Tripping on the Wire Radio. You all know me for good reason. Bye, Skids. I'm sure SOH and Donnie P also say thank you for being here. And thank you for being here. We'll see you next Friday on another Friday Fever, another episode of Friday Fever. And I'm done.